evening, freaks. I hope you're all riding out that new moon in Scorpio energy that came in with a partial solar eclipse and diving into these depths that we're about to find the hidden treasure within. We're really entering a very interesting cycle with this particular new moon that's going to be playing out over the next couple weeks. And I'll talk about that a bit. I'm going to do a collective read, just touching into these new moon energies and this eclipse cycle that is really closing out a very lengthy karmic journey we've all been on together collectively. And I'm going to be using the deck that we're unboxing tonight. So this will be fun. So I'll dive more into that energy, and I'm actually going to be doing quite a few different reads coming up here over the next couple weeks in relation to this eclipse cycle we're moving through that's really about to set us on a whole new track. Okay, this is like cleanup duty we're doing here, and there's so much that is going to be illuminated, so much that's going to be coming forward for all of us, so many downloads coming in. All right, so please stay tuned. But what we're going to open with first is the unboxing of the Halloween Oracle. This is by Stacy DeMarco. I'm really excited to dive into this. I received this as a gift. I still don't know who sent this my way, but to whoever sent this my way, thank you so much. I really am so excited to bring this in here. And what wonderful timing, all right? Because we do have Halloween or Samhain right around the corner. We're just a week leading up to it, okay? So big energy coming in with this Halloween. It really is marking the beginning of what's known as Witches' New Year, all right? So at this time of year for Samhain, we really look at the turning of the wheel, entering a new cycle, preparing to, incubate our dreams for what's going to come in with the rebirth energy of spring after Persephone finds her way out of that time, integrating her shadow with Hades and emerges as core, bringing everything into bloom and a state of abundance. So really looking forward to diving into this energy and diving into this deck. You'll see that it comes in this beautiful box. I love that there's a little bit of this play between surfaces. There's some shiny surfaces and then this matte box. So it really highlights the artwork, and it looks like it's really going to be a beautiful deck. So I'm very excited. I didn't even know this deck existed. Nice orange on the inside. Very Halloween, very Halloween. And it's like we got a nice book that comes with it. I've been really impressed with the books that have been coming with these decks that I've been unboxing. They're high quality books. Okay. So just a little description of each card, breakdown. Got this nice book that comes with it. And then we got the deck here. Okay. So we're going to just go through all these cards. I'm going to let you see the artwork, and then I'm going to do a spontaneous reading for the collective just to touch in on these energies in play. I did want to get some guidance coming in since we have that new moon energy kicking off today, but there will be more to come. I'm definitely feeling this new moon energy, and also with that eclipse that came in this morning. Oof. I mean, I'm getting a lot of downloads. I've kind of been like swimming in those Scorpio depths, all throughout the day. So I'm feeling like I need to kind of like do more integrative tonight. And I encourage you all to do that too. Scorpio is a very intuitive sign. So pay attention to the guidance that's slipping through for you right now on those more subtle levels. Create some space to just tune in and listen to the impressions that are percolating within you right now. There's a lot that's going to be rising to the surface. So do give yourself an opportunity to sort of calibrate yourself to your intuition, because this is going to be your best guide for moving forward. All right, we have ancestors, the love and legacy of our DNA. Beautiful card. The backs of the cards look like. Apple, risk and reward. Ooh, I like this. Spicy. Barmbrack, sweetness and synergy. This is a really cool deck. I love the artwork. Black cat, fortune meets opportunity. Cauldron, synergy and healing. Dawn, the light after the darkness. And I love that the owl is on there because the owl is able to see clearly within the dark. Death, the eternal cycle begins here. What a beautiful card. I love the art on these. Eternal love. Love is love is love. And it transcends physical death. Oh, beautiful. This is such a cool deck. Forgiveness. Reducing burden. Ooh, that is profound. I love that. What a beautiful way to look at forgiveness. Reducing burden. Ghost. Regret. Graveyard. Unnecessary fear. Hearth. Happiness in our hearts and homes. Invisibility. Authenticity. Jack-o'-lantern. Protection. Joy. Rejoicing in the present. Lady de los Muertos, acceptance and equality. The lamp, remembrance. Midnight, the most magical hour of all. The witching hour. Tonight we ride. I'm just sending that out to all of those who ride the hedge. You know we're going to be riding these ethers tonight, ma'am. Mummy, change. Night song, hidden talents. Cardinal energy there. Messages from spirit. Owl, wise scene, wise action. This is really just such a gorgeous deck. Scrying, intuition. Skeleton, strength. Skull of darkness, blind spots. Skull of flowers, creating through the ashes. Skull of light, illumination. Skull of stars, infinite possibilities. Spider, community and web weaving. Very cool. Trick or treat, mischief and play. You know, everybody always forgets about the trick part, you know? All they think about is the treats. They forget the deliciousness of the trick part of Halloween, right? The underworld, where all things pause and begin again. I love the pomegranate imagery of Persephone there. Beautiful. Vampire, emotional intelligence. The veil, the future. Werewolf, exploring wildness. Winter, the sacredness of pausing. The witch, the earthly weaver of the worlds. Beautiful. And zombie, control. Okay. All right, well, let's dive into this because I'm really looking forward to doing a reading with these. We're going to just clear out the old energy that might be hanging on to this deck. Let me see. Do I have some bay leaf here? Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and just do a little smoke cleansing with some bay leaf. Clear them of any residual energy from packaging and all the different hands that touched them before they arrived here. And let's have a look at it for the collective. What energy is coming in with this lunar cycle for the collective? What's in store for the collective? With this lunar cycle kicked off with this Scorpio new moon that's leading up to another eclipse that's closing out a cycle that got started a year ago. Okay, so this partial solar eclipse that we just had with this Scorpio new moon energy was closing a cycle that began back in April. Okay, so things that you couldn't see back in April are really going to start to come to light now over the next couple of weeks. And this is going to be very pivotal because we are going to have the very last eclipse of 2022 coming up on November 8th in the sign of Taurus. Okay. And it's important to note that Scorpio is in the south node position right now, and we have Taurus in the north node position. So south node is really about what we're stepping out of, the lessons that we need to learn, which has been through this whole Pluto cycle we've been through. We've been spending a lot of time sifting through the shadow, you know, diving into those subconscious motivations, understanding the inner workings of our lives and how they manifest in material reality through that Taurus north node. North node is all about what we're stepping into. We're meant to be stepping out of the shadow and stepping into the manifestation of our purpose and stepping into the tangible result of our growth from that time that we spent sifting through the subconscious terrain, right? When we're also looking at Taurus North Node, we're looking at what we value and how we value ourselves and where we invest our time and our energy. So all of these things are really coming to the surface right now. And there's going to be a lot illuminated for us over the next couple weeks, just in terms of how we've invested our energy. And this card just automatically came out before I even have gotten a chance to really start doing my shuffling and diving into this. But we have what's on offer here is the apple, right? Now, an apple can be something that gives you nourishment. An apple can be sweet, but an apple can also be, bitter if it's plucked from the tree before its time, right? Apples are often seen also as symbols of temptation. So we can find that sometimes if we're just motivated impulsively by our shadow nature, by our subconscious influences, that we may be tempted to bite into something that will leave a bitter taste in our mouth. Temptation can often be like that. There's an element with temptation that we know we're kind of heading into territory that we really shouldn't explore. And yet it's very alluring because as much as we don't like to admit it, we're intrigued by what is hiding in the dark. Okay. This is all about risk and reward. All right. This cycle is all about risk and reward and taking this opportunity to really sink into your senses, because scorpions are highly sensitive. Highly sensitive. They pick up on the more subtle current that runs through things. And so there is this need to get quiet. And in particular, really spend some time at night just tuning out all the distractions. Just practice, even as a meditation, spending some time in complete darkness. No light coming from your phone or from your laptop. Turn off the ringer. Turn off your notifications. And just rest in the dark. No lights, no candlelight, just darkness. And notice what feelings stir in you as you sit in the darkness, and see if you can sink into the deliciousness of the darkness, how there's so much happening there, even though you might not necessarily be able to see the full picture. Because that's the energy we're moving through right now as we head through this next 2-week portal. Okay, it's like a portal that's going to take us from the old life to the new. You're going to find that themes up to a year ago are really going to be playing out in your life over these next couple weeks. And it's a time for you to really evaluate, am I acting from a place that is just all about the rush of the risk, right? The endorphin rush of the risk of doing something that maybe I know I really shouldn't do, but I just kind of want to see if I can get away with it. That kind of like 7 of Swords sort of energy, right? Or is it a case of being too fearful? Have I been holding myself back and not really going where I'm feeling pulled because I'm scared? I'm scared of taking the leap, but could there be a great reward on the other side? Only you know. And it's about measuring the risk versus the reward. Is the reward that is promised on the other side worth you taking a bite of that apple, right? So we're definitely doing this kind of heady soul searching and likely grappling with themes that were first emerging in our lives about a year ago. Okay, we're closing this all up when we hit that November 8th full moon in Taurus with that lunar eclipse. All right, and it's a doozy. Okay, it is a doozy. There's a lot of challenging aspects that are involved with that full moon that we're going to be leading up to. So right now, the more that you can kind of get comfortable with the darkness, comfortable with that place of having that great big question mark over your head, the more that you can sort of like release your attachment to needing to have anything fixed, and you can move more into that mutable energy where you can just flow with the current, make friends with the dark, make friends with the dark, and understand how it's a seed of great potential, It doesn't have to be something you fear. There's so much richness and potential from sitting in that space of the unknown. And truly, anything worth taking a leap for, promises great reward. And often everything we want is on the other side of fear, truly. But there is a difference. And in order to know the difference between simply acting out of a place of wanting the endorphin rush of danger or something clandestine or a bit out of pocket, you know what I mean? Something that's operating out of that place that just wants to see, can I get away with it? Can I get away with it? It's a bit rebellious, a bit of that kind of Lilith energy, right? A bit of that Lilith energy, which, that can pay off at times if you are stuck within a role that really doesn't serve you and you need to strike out dramatically in name of your independence. Sometimes that risk is worth the reward, even though you may get a certain level of backlash from that. And it was 22:02 on the clock when I said that. Okay, this is a spicy energy collective. So let's see what is coming in for the collective over these next couple weeks leading up to that full moon in Taurus. This is such an important cycle because after the full moon in Taurus, what we're going to have coming up is the new moon in Sagittarius. And so it's all about moving into expansion. Now, the foundation of your expansion is significant because if you don't lay the foundation properly, you may not like what you see expand in your life. You can move into an expansion that's about moving into big blessed energy where you see yourself moving towards your goals, where you see the manifestation of your visions, where you feel a sense of empowerment and an overcoming of the lessons of the past that were keeping you small, keeping you stuck, blocking your blessings. It can be an opportunity for you really to have your time to shine and move into the next stage of your life in a way that you feel very emboldened by, like having the mojo and having the cojones to be able to take more risks that lead to more growth, that leads to more up leveling. Or you can act out of that kind of shadowy nature and just sort of going for, what feeds your sort of, lower level desires, the part of you that just wants instant gratification but isn't able to look at the bigger picture, the part of you that doesn't truly understand your value or the value of what you're bringing to the table. And you may find an expansion of more drama, more fallout, more stuck states in your life where things just come to a grinding halt and you got to stay there until you can do more cleanup work. You get to decide how you move into the next cycle. And right now, for these next couple of weeks, it's all about the foundation. It's really about the foundation that we're putting in place with this energy. And it begins by us having the ability to first tune into the inner realm, get in touch with our inner motivations and, sitting with what can be some kind of activating material over these next couple weeks. I mean, just transport yourself back to a year ago. What was going on in your life a year ago? What were you feeling? What were you grappling with? Are you ready to face it in a new way now? So we got skull of darkness, blind spots. And as I say this, it just started pouring rain outside. I almost want to open up the door. Maybe you'll be able to hear it. that cleansing energy coming in, that purification energy coming in. This is what's going to be illuminated for us over these next couple weeks. Our blind spots are being illuminated. And the more that you can get comfortable being in that blind spot, right? Like sitting in that darkness, sitting in that place of unknowing and resting there, tuning into the more subtle layers of intuition that are found by opening yourself up to the subconscious realm, making the subconscious conscious by rising it up to the surface through creating spaces of quiet reflection without distraction. The more that the blind spots are going to be illuminated. Right now, we're in a big blind spot, okay? We're right in the middle of this eclipse that's closing everything out with a bang as we get prepared to move into those winter months, you know, that will be the ending of this year of 2022 and stepping into 2023, a whole new reality before us, all right? We can really sabotage moving into that new cycle, though, by dragging a bunch of old stuff behind us because we don't understand our blind spots. And most of the time that happens when we're in a constant state of distraction, right? There's a great opportunity for alchemy here, though. The witch, the earthly weaver of the worlds, okay? This is about using that inner fire to transform what was in the dark by shining a light to it within yourself through becoming acquainted with the darkness, acquainted with the nothingness, acquainted with the not knowing, and being at peace with that unknown, understanding that that unknown is this amazing seed of potential. And from that seed of potential, so much can bloom, so much can come into being. But it's so essential when it comes to bringing anything into bloom that it's tended to, that it's nurtured, that that growth is nurtured. And if you have a blind spot, if you have that inner saboteur inside of you, but you don't understand how it moves and how it exercises itself in your day-to-day choices, then you can end up being in a position where your blind spots are leading the way. And then you end up in this place where you're like, how did I get here? You know, I just heard that song, Talking Heads, Days Go By, you know, where it's like, this is not my house. This is not my beautiful life. This is not my wife. You know, it's that kind of thing. When we're creating from our blind spots, we're creating from the subconscious. We're not even aware of what we're creating, and we're being asked to use our inner fire of transformation to shine a light on these areas, bring the subconscious into the light by having the willingness to make friends with the dark, you know, sit in the darkness, rest in the darkness, understand it as a time of germination, and understand that what you can't see right now can make a big difference between whether you have something to harvest or whether you have to go back to the drawing board. So there's also this need to not be so impulsive. Don't be so set on moving forward quickly. Allow yourself this little space of purification of the old cycle. Allow what can't be seen right now to come to light, because it will. It will. What you couldn't see before will be illuminated. We have to give this opportunity for this whole eclipse season to close out. It's going to be a coming to light after we move out of that Taurus full moon coming up on November 8th. As we get closer into Sagittarius season and that Sagittarius new moon, we're going to start to move into expansion. Everything's going to be lit up big time, and it's going to be showtime. So right now, it's so important to be mindful that this work, what you're doing over these next couple of weeks in this place of kind of fumbling around in the dark, waiting to see what door is going to open that's going to lead to your next chapter. It's so important to do your inner alchemy work, you know, to bring any of your blind spots to light. Think about what sabotaged you in the past. Where do you need to hold yourself accountable, and then take measures to actually address it so you can really enter this new cycle in a very empowered way, and you'll have a harvest to be proud of. I'm going to shut this door. Isn't that interesting? It just came through very quickly. Yeah, bottom of the deck energy, winter, okay? The sacredness of pausing. There's value in this. There's value in taking some time to rest. And you may find that you have a great urge to do this right now. And it's natural. Once we head into the fall season, fall is all about letting go. It's about following through with things that we set in motion so we can yield the harvest from our efforts earlier in the year. But it's also a time of letting go. It's a time of release. And it's all about that preparing to turn within in the winter. And what do we do in the winter? In the winter, we incubate our dreams. We incubate our visions. And a lot of the work that we're putting into our visions, it's more quiet, it's more subtle in the winter time. We're nurturing it on the inner realms before we're taking the action to materialize it in the outer reality in the spring. So it's more what's happening within the realm of thought and within the realm of imagination. Winter is equated with that swords energy in the tarot. So it is about dreaming. It's about envisioning. It's about looking at what inspirations come in during our time of turning within and rest. So start to welcome this energy in now while we have the veil thinning as we're heading up toward Halloween. Okay, the veil is very thin. So the access to guidance coming from the other realm is at its peak at this time. And especially with these energies coming into play, there's so much opportunity to have certain things illuminated for us that we couldn't see before by allowing ourselves to move into this creative space with our intuition and allowing ourselves to tune into the more subtle layers. So I am really getting a piece that's something that could be very helpful too is Tratak, working with candle gazing. It's very simple. You can just light a candle in the dark, and that candle that you light can symbolize the vision, what you want to call in, what you're looking to grow in your life. And maybe you have an idea of what that vision is, and maybe you don't. Maybe there's something you want to come to light for you. Maybe you don't know what your way forward is, but you can hold that, the desire to know your way forward, the desire to know what your next step should be. And you can put a candle in front of you. Okay. And you can stare at the flame within the darkness. Let your focus be on this light, much like the star card, right? The star card is about being in this place of in between, where you are in a process of healing, you're in a process of integrating, you've been operating through your shadow, you've been doing all of your integration work, and yet you're keeping focused on that one light, that one star in the sky, that one wish, that one hope that you have for yourself, for your future. And you allow that to be where you put your focus. So think about what your vision is right now. Think about what you're calling into being. And you can get a candle, very simple, get a candle and light it and spend time with a candle in the dark. Turn off all the lights. You can do this at night when everything is more quiet. It can kind of be a bedtime ritual for you, a way to sort of allow your intuition to come forward, allow your focus to be honed so that even though this is a time where you're not quite sure which way the ball is going to bounce yet, you're not quite sure what your new direction looks like, or maybe you're trying to make an important decision and you're not quite certain what choice you should make. Put this into the light. Focus on the light. Put your gaze upon the light and stare at the flame while you allow these questions you have, while you allow these shadow aspects of yourself, the fears you have, the concerns you have, the questions you have, Offer it up to the flame and ask for it to ignite within you the flame of transformation so that it can illuminate your path forward. It can be a very powerful practice. And it also helps to activate ajna, the third eye chakra, when you do this candle gazing. And it ignites the agni, the inner fire of transformation within us. And with that inner fire of transformation, that's when you get alchemy. Fire is both purifying, but it also facilitates the illumination of the path forward and allows for new things to grow. This is why sometimes you'll see people do a burn. A good burn, can clear the area for new things to grow. And that's what it's all about at this time. That's what it's all about at this time. Actually, I am going to be bringing something in for Samhain. I am going to be, I'm going to be around on Samhain, bringing some stuff in on the channel. And I am going to be adding people's prayers, visions, hopes, blessing energy that they want to bring in as we enter the new cycle with the turning of the wheel. So if there is something that you want to bring in, if there is something that you've been holding your sights on, you would like support for your vision, drop it in a comment for me, okay? Drop it in a comment for me on this video, okay? I'm going to be using my tree in the back here, and I'm going to be putting on some petitions for the BroadCoven, just to hold the space and to call in blessing energy around those visions. So if you have something you want to bring it in, and we'll nurture it, okay? We'll hold space for it through the winter as we travel through the winter time. And, I'll do a good burn with that energy. After we get through the lunar eclipse that comes in with that full moon in Taurus on the 8th of November, I'll do a good burn ritual that night where I'll release everything that we put on this tree. And we'll just release all the old and call in the new, okay? We'll hold it together. So set your intention. But really, this is time to pause, okay? You have to remember we have Mars in retrograde coming in on the 30th, all right? Now is not the time for impulsive actions. Now is the time to just take a moment, let the lay of the land get illuminated for you a little bit. Don't be so quick to rush in. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread, all right? You want to make sure that you're being very mindful of the place you're creating from right now. Because we see behind this, we have skull of flowers creating through the ashes, all right? Like I was just talking about, right? Sometimes you'll see farmers, they'll do a good burn, it's so new things can grow. And so this is the time of evaluating in your life. Where do you want to continue to invest your energy? And where has the crop been spoiled? Where is it time to do a good burn so new things can grow? This is all about honoring the transitions of our life and deciding how we want to invest our energy moving forward. We have death. The internal cycle begins here. It's through what we're releasing right now that the new path is going to be forged. And it's all about our willingness to let go. It's all about how we choose to move through it. I mean, with this moth energy, I think moth to a flame, right? Moth to a flame. Maybe you can even do that as a visualization, work with that moth totem to help you transform some of those shadow aspects, some of those aspects of yourself that maybe just wants what you want, without really considering the long-term ramifications. Offering up those parts of you that do want to act impulsively like a moth to the flame. You can even envision these shadow aspects like a moth entering that flame when you do your tratak, when you do your candle gazing. and watch the transformation that unfolds. Watch what comes out of that space, because what is ending here with this lunar cycle is going to be the seeds of the new beginning. And where there is death, death is just, it's just an initiation. It's just an initiation into a new way of being. The old form has to be released so you can step into the new. And there's so much that's going to come through at night. We've got night song, okay? Night song. And I love this cardinal energy, because cardinals are all about messages from spirit, and they're messages from spirit that bring promises of joy, promises of things to truly celebrate, okay? And it's all about that energy of dipping into the night. It says night song, hidden talents, hidden talents. There's so much potential inside of you, but you can't really start to dive into your potential and all that could come to expression for you unless you make space to really allow yourself to sink into that darkness, that unknowing, that place of exploration. Again, the risk versus the reward, right? It's about tempering the impulsiveness to allow the space for the true inspiration to come in. And also taking advantage of this week we have leading up to Samhain, leading up to Halloween, to get in touch with those more subtle layers, to listen and to see if you can hear the song of your bloodline, the song of your ancestors coming through. It's more easy to tune in at this time as the veil is thinning. And you were brought into this life with certain gifts that you're meant to express. They're your Ashe. They're the expression of your soul's essence. And it's the expression of your ancestors that wants to rise up through you as an empowerment to offer this gift to the world. So allow yourself this space of not knowing to also discover your hidden talents, discover the things that light you up creatively. I mean, this is really where the reward is. We see this with Barnbrack coming behind this. It's the sweetness and the synergy. This is the opportunity we're being given right now. We're being given the opportunity to really neutralize our impulsivity. And often impulsivity comes from that place inside of us that can at times be reckless, because we're in a very desirous state. And not that there is anything wrong with desire or passion, but there's this need right now to temper this, okay? To temper this. We're entering that liminal space. Scorpio, new moon, solar eclipse, to the Taurus, full moon, lunar eclipse. And we're in that liminal space right now. We're in the in-between place right now. We're in the in-between place where we're weighing out the risk versus the reward. This is an opportunity for us to just hold back a little bit. Don't be so reckless. Don't be so quick to fly off the handle, to just immediately dive into something. Know that what's meant for you is aligned with you. It's in complete synergy. You don't have to act recklessly to get it. It will all flow to you effortlessly. It's about you harmonizing your energy with that. And how do you harmonize your energy with that so you can come into synergy with your sweet reward? By getting intimately in touch with the more subtle layers of information that's coming in right now. If you create the space, if you hold back, if you enjoy the richness of the pause, if you give yourself an opportunity to sink into the darkness and see it as a place of potentiality instead of something to fear, see the unknown as a point of possibility, as opposed to being something that rocks your safety. Okay, first of all, There's always going to be some kind of risk when it comes to stepping into your full potential. There truly are no safe spaces within life. There just isn't. And there is no greater risk than the risk of the heart to open up to what really fuels you, feeds you, inspires you, lights you up, and allows you to move into that place of expansion, that big Jupiter bless up energy, which is what's on deck once we hit that new moon in Sagittarius in November. It's beautiful energy on offer, but it's all about what's the foundation of that? What is the foundation of that expansion? So really get in touch with yourself. Lean into these questioning places. Lean into the more subtle layers. Get in touch with your ancestors. Put out an altar for your ancestors. Put a glass of water out for your ancestors. Leave a candle out for them. Offer them some treats, ask for their assistance, ask for their communication, ask them to send you signs to help illuminate your way forward. Get in touch with these more subtle layers of reality. It's by connecting with these familial roots, your ancestral roots. It brings you to this place of the heart, happiness in our hearts and homes. Our home being within our lives. The lives that we create for ourselves become the home we live in. And there's no greater home than the home within your heart. Okay, so it's like, remember that blood that pumps through your heart, that gives you life, that keeps you going. It is the bloodline of your ancestors, and they're speaking through you now. Move into this werewolf energy. Tap into your more feral nature, your more instinctual nature, where it's not about sacrificing your lessons, sacrificing the wisdom you've hard earned, but it's about marrying the intellect with the intuition. And that brings forward within you during this time a certain wild wisdom that helps you work with that wolf energy. Wolf is the pathfinder. Wolf is able to chart the path forward in the dark. It picks up the scent of the trail. There's all this moving in the more intuitive realm at this time. Top of the deck energy, midnight, the most magical hour of all, okay? And this, I can't ever help but think of midnight and not think of Cinderella, okay? Not think of Cinderella. It's like such a magical in-between time, and it was a liminal space for Cinderella too, Up until midnight, she got to be the belle of the ball, but once midnight struck, it was back to where she began, all right? So there's this like message here of being mindful that where you start will have great bearing on where you end up when you pop out the other side of this portal. So be very wise in how you move forward by being in touch deeply with the ways you can sabotage yourself. Make sure that the way you start forms the foundation of how you'll finish. And if you're not sure about how you want to finish, all right, and you don't even know where you want to direct your energy at this time, and it's all unknown to you, and everything feels like it's in the dark for you at this time, even better so. That's ultimate possibility, ultimate potential. Anything can happen. Call your light forward. Call your vision forward. Create the space for it. Get in touch with it. Do your candle gazing. Welcome the light in. Welcome the illumination in. Ask for your illumination to come in. Ask for the guidance to come in from your ancestors. Create the space where you can sink into what you're feeling instead of busying yourself with distractions so you can't feel it. And all will become clear for you, and things will be revealed to you. The curtain's coming up. Black cat. Fortune meets opportunity. And believe me, there are wonderful opportunities on offer through what initially looks like bad luck, but actually offers you your empowerment and stepping into all you're meant to be. If you are able to not get skittish, not be a fraidy cat, okay, but instead are able to do a little bit of daring, kind of pressing those 9 lives a bit, okay? I think that what is going to be required in this liminal space is a leap. It's a leap. And it means leaping into the unknown. There is a part of you, or a situation, or a relationship, or a direction you chose a year ago. Think back a year. There's something that needs to go. You know it needs to go. And there's a little glimmer of light that's growing inside of you that you want to follow, but it requires some kind of risk. Right now is the time to think about what is that next step you need to take, and not to act too rashly, but to really tune into the frequency of what's required of you in order to make that change. Cut of the deck energy. Zombie control. This is the problem, okay? 51 on the clock when I said that. This is what needs to change to bring about the new beginning so you can step into your purpose. You have to look at the way needing to have control of situations, needing to know exactly how things are going to turn out, needing to have all the answers, the way it actually keeps you stuck, all right? There's such a need to move beyond this, because what's on the other side of that, when you let go, you find this. You find joy. Rejoicing in the present, all right? This is your moment of power. Stop worrying about how things are going to turn out right now, and stop looking back at where you've been. Do everything you can at this time to create space to just sink into the present moment. And as you do that, everything is going to be illuminated for you. What you couldn't see before will become evident, and it's that very thing that will give you your vision and light your way forward.